So why did I walk the Camino de Santiago all by myself? Well, let me tell you. There was a time when I was completely invisible. I thought I was a devoted mother to two amazing children and the perfect wife to a husband, creating a sanctuary for him when he returned from work. And I would stay up late at night, long before the kids went to bed, in the glow of the TV. I just was waiting for him to look at me. I was craving for a conversation. But all I got in return was, I'm tired, later. And I would go to bed at night with feeling like a little crack in the porcelain. But the final shatter happened in June of 2013 under the thin canvas of a tent. We had just came back from a 100-kilometer cycling event, and my body was tired, but my heart was hopeful that in the quiet of the campsite, away from the distractions of work, that we can finally talk. Sitting in the tent, I watched him unfold his sleeping bag. I waited, I watched him, and I reached one last time. Hey, can we talk? He didn't even look up. He closed his eyes and said, I'm tired. The feeling of invisibility was incredible. I had given years of my time. I had given years of love, years of devotion to a man that treated me like an appliance, something that needed to function but not be heard. I tell you, in the silence of that tent, the perfect wife died. I was done waiting for him to choose me. Actually, I realized that how can he choose me if I never chose myself? And that was the beginning of my transformation. I thought I was leaving a marriage, but what I didn't know is that I was embarking on a new journey of discovering who I am. The Camino came across my path. I had heard about it, a woman speak. Actually, Sue Kenny spoke one night of her experience walking the Camino. And somehow, listening to her, I didn't quite know what it was all about, but I heard a calling. I knew that I too would walk that path. And the time came in 2022 when I decided I needed something new. I needed change in my life. And so I decided to sell my house. By selling my house, it opened up the space for me to walk the Camino. Initially, I was supposed to walk it with my boyfriend. And I was excited to plan it together. And finally, I had someone to walk with me. But when it came time to buy our tickets, he backed out for whatever reason. Oh, man, did I ever have to dig deep? I was afraid to do this by myself. I didn't want to do it by myself. Like a single woman traveling across the Atlantic Ocean to walk across a country in a foreign language. Like I was afraid. There was fear. But I had to dig deep and ask myself, Maurice, what is it that you really want? And the little voice inside said, I want to walk the Camino. So it's like, that's it. Do it. Do it. So I went to my computer and I booked the flight. And it was like throwing my hat over the fence. It's kind of like, okay, it's done. So now what? I got to find a way. And I followed one step at a time as I went. It took a lot of courage to get on the flight. And once I landed in France, luckily I could speak a little bit of French. So I, navigated my way to the transportation systems. I took the bus and I got myself to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, where everything started. And there were so many other pilgrims that I just followed, and it just seemed so natural. Everything seemed natural the whole way, because every step revealed itself. It's kind of like being on The Amazing Race, Every checkpoint, there's like an envelope or there's something that tells you what next steps to take. And so I got to my albergue. The hospitalier said, I needed to make a reservation for the next night, which he graciously did for me. And I got up in the morning and started walking towards that destination. And it was like that, following the arrows, discovering which arrows to take. And at the beginning, it was a little confusing because I was in France. And in France, their markers are red and white dashes. And so I thought those were the markers I needed to walk. However, by the end of the day, I had crossed into Spain. And in Spain, they were using different markers. They were using the yellow arrow. And so guess what happened? I got lost. I ended up finding myself in the forest in the Pyrenees. It had been about 3 kilometers in, I was lost. And oh man, I asked for help. Help showed up, and I had to backtrack and find my way back. But by then, my body was so tired. I really hadn't trained for climbing a huge mountain the day before and kicking it off with 28 kilometers of walking. My body was completely shot. My feet were sore. And what I realized is how much my mind had turned against me. It was all about performance. It was all about expectations. And it's like, heck, man, the physical pain is one thing, but dealing with this mindset was more painful than actually walking, I tell you. But what I discovered was that through the process of walking, I became detached from my thoughts. I was able to be the witness. And through the journey, as I was detached and being the witness of what was unfolding, there was a new awareness that I wasn't my thoughts, I wasn't my body. I was the witness. And it was quite spectacular. After I came home, I realized that I wasn't the same person that had left. Although only 40 days or 50 days by then had passed, those 50 days felt like a lifetime. It felt like I had walked a whole lifetime and I had shifted. Something shifted inside. And I was beginning a new relationship with myself. This new relationship. And it was messy. It was really messy. And it wasn't until I walked with my daughter the following year. And that's when things started to expand in my awareness. Now that I was the witness of Maurice, there was an expanded awareness that was happening, that how I relate to myself is how I relate to the things in my external world. And there was this inner and outer exchange that was happening, this transparency, this revealing of myself through what I was witnessing in my outer world. And that's when I realized that I had to write about it. That's how I thought, this is special, this experience that I'm having. And I felt like it needed to be shared. And so again, the following year, I'm walking with my son. And while I'm walking, this time I'm walking the Norte with my son. And all of a sudden, I'm getting inspiration about why wouldn't I write these lessons? Why wouldn't I write my experience of walking my first Camino? And the chapters started to unfold. The lessons started to reveal themselves. And I'm just in the awareness of all of this. And when I came home in August of 2025, that was last year, I sat at my computer and it just poured out of me. Like, it's like I was taking dictation from my thoughts and I was just typing and typing and typing and typing. And it unfolded on the pages, and Sacred Miles on the Camino started to take form. And now I'm birthing it. I'm birthing it to the world. I have to say, it's very, very vulnerable. It feels vulnerable because I'm sharing in a very raw way my inner experience of walking the Camino. It's different. I'm telling a story, but I'm sharing my experience with you. And what people have shared thus far with me is that they feel like they're walking with me and they feel like they can see themselves through my story, which I feel is super, super special. The other reason why I wrote the book is my experience of walking the Camino brought me closer to myself. It brought me home to myself. And really, that's what I hope that women get when they read this story, is that it's a path, it's a journey towards coming home to themselves. It's an opportunity to build a different relationship with themselves. It's an opportunity also to come together in community, to share stories and to grow together. Like, listen, I didn't become enlightened by walking the Camino, and I don't have all the answers, but what I do know is that it is a journey that brings you to yourself. And that is what I hope to share with this book. So if this story resonates with you, I invite you to join me to continue the journey of Sacred Miles and join my community. The community is all about, again, coming together and walking this path together. So again, if this resonates with you, I'm going to put in the description below a link where you could purchase the book, and also a link where you can join the community. And I would love to meet you there and walk together. And this is exciting because we get to discover ourselves. We get to discover life. We get to be in discovery of what this is all about, beyond the fixated beliefs that we have of what this world really is. So thank you for listening. I so appreciate you. I so see you. And I look forward to experiencing more of this journey with you. So if you are in the Blue Mountains, Collingwood area, I invite you to my book launch, which is Thursday, June 25th, 2026, at Press Market in Collingwood. And if not, I look forward to meeting you in the community. Be well, my friend. Ultreya.